Welcome back. This is Answer Me This. I'm Aidan, the founder of the Modern Fatherhood Club, and Answer Me This is our mini-series, part of the Fatherhood in Focus podcast. Thank you so much for joining us, and before we kick off this week's topic, what have you been able to celebrate this week? What challenges have you overcome, and what obstacles have been in the way that you've managed to navigate round with confidence and courage? What are those things that you've moved to make more time for you and for your kids? On a personal level, we had plenty to celebrate last week. It was parents' evening and both boys got really solid feedback. It was that kind of feedback that you hear as a parent and you're proud of their progress, but you're also proud of who they're becoming and their personalities. Not just how much effort they put in at school and what they're learning, but how they treat the people around them and how they respond to challenge and how they respond to setback. So both boys got a glowing report, something that we were so proud of, especially with the older one. He's always had more of a challenging parents' evening, and the feedback hasn't always been that feedback that you want to hear as a parent. But this teacher, I think she's got him sussed out. I think she understands who he is. I think she understands that he's prepared to put the work in. He's a boy, he'll mess around occasionally. But what I think she zeroed in on is the person, underneath the mask. The person that's prepared to support his friends and be there if there's ever a problem. And he makes other people in the room light up. And it's the same feedback that we hear from on the little one too. But to cap off their great week, our school celebrates something called Child of the Week. So each of the teachers gets to celebrate one of the children, and it's the children's application of the school's values. So perseverance, working hard, helping others, good communication, that kind of stuff. And both boys this week, they got recognised for their hard work and their perseverance and the way that they treat other people. And there's something to celebrate when individually they get it. When they both get it at the same time, it's a massive, massive thing. And you can see how proud they are of themselves. And then, on a personal level, to cap it off even more, I threw myself into another High Rocks. I'm not pleased with the time. I missed my personal best by 26 seconds. But the feedback from the older one was, wow, Dad, you could have run harder. You could have run faster. And I tried to explain to him, the pain that you feel in your legs and the fact that, it's a challenge and it's something that I continue to work at and continue to get better at. But the key message that I wanted to leave them with was, it's hard, it's challenging, but you put your best foot forward and you keep pushing through regardless of the pain that you feel. And all in all, a great 7 days. And now we're into half term. So if you're anything like our family, you're juggling the pressure of work, you're juggling the lack of cover and the lack of support at times and the lack of clubs. Because some genius decided that 2 weeks half term in October would be a great idea and that we take an extra week off the summer holidays. How that's managed to find its way into today, where parents are already stretched and already challenged, and you can already see the pressure that the parents are under, juggling 2 weeks, not one, but also imagine the price hikes in the summer. Those summer holidays are only going to increase in cost because we're now looking at 5 weeks, not 6. And that's part of the challenge, right? There's just this massive disconnect between you, between me, between the government, between the local councils, even the schools. The pressure on modern parents is relentless. We have to find that balance, but we don't seem to be able to do so. Yes, in places our employers are supportive. Yes, we're able to juggle things and maybe move things around so that we can meet the needs of our kids, but the demands of the heavy schedule. I think in reality, we're just not getting this right. We're not getting the support. We're not alive to the challenges, and we're not making the decisions that benefit parents, benefit families. We're pushing more pressure on working parents, and that only creates more of a challenge at home, more pressure at home for the children, for the parents. So we've really got to work this stuff out. we've got to look at it sensibly. We've got to look at it from a solution-focused view and say, what do the parents actually need? What do the kids need? And do we have sufficient holiday? Do we have sufficient wraparound care and support? Is there funding available to get that support? And how much holiday am I going to need to burn as a working parent to cover it all? Because you and I both know my holiday allowance is not going to cover the number of days needed to cover the holiday that we do have with the kids. So look, loads going on, loads of opportunity to, vent, loads of opportunity to get your opinion out there. If you too are suffering with the 2-week half term, let me know. Let me know how you're managing. Let me know how you're coping with the additional stress. And let me know how you're going to cope with the 5 weeks, not 6, in the summer holidays as they're coming up. And if you've got something in your home that you want to celebrate, one of the kids has done something amazing, drop it in the chat, drop it in the comments. As always, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, like and subscribe to the podcast, leave a comment. If there's anything you want us to cover in terms of topics, please reach out, either drop it in the chat or send me an email or a direct message. And if you want to check out some of our resources, they're all available on the Modern Fatherhood Club. I have to admit, we're going through some tweaks and changes of some of our products so that you have exactly what you need and you understand what you're getting, both from our free products and from our paid products. That's our courses, that's our ebooks. And we're working through some of our inner circle planning for 2026. So our inner circle is part of our membership. And as part of the membership, you get a monthly training that you'll have access to. It's a video-based training. Some of them are going to be live, some of them will be pre-recorded. And they're very much focused on that 12 months with baby, maximizing your time, maximizing your impact, and making sure that the influences that are circling round aren't stopping you having the impact that you want to have on your young family. But we'll also take it beyond that first 12 months. And we'll give you the support that you need. We'll give you the topics that we think are important based on the research that we've been doing. And of course, if there are topics that you want to cover in terms of mindset, in terms of overcoming obstacles, challenges, planning for the future, focusing on that next career move or focusing on your finances, let us know and we'll prepare an inner circle training or a podcast episode. If it's going to be a bit more generic and a bit more wide ranging, then we can throw it into the podcast, throw it into the YouTube channel. Like I said, the inner circle training will be part of our membership. There's a paid level and there's a free level. And depending on what products you buy, it will depend on what access levels you have. Of course, you can join the mailing list at themodernfatherhoodclub.com. And again, anything that you want covered, let us know. This is Answer Me This. I'm Aidan. Let's get started. So this week's question, does she feel chosen or just stuck? So you can stand next to your partner every day and still leave her feeling alone. This episode, it's more personal than the rest. I wanted to spend the next few sessions talking partnership. Regardless of the status of your relationship with your children's mother, you cannot overlook the importance of partnership. Regardless of how you feel about one another, you cannot sacrifice their future because your ego or hers is getting in the way. They matter more than anything else. And any other approach, well, that's just selfish. That's not just on you, but her too. Whether you're still together or not, you and her have got to be aligned. If you've gone your separate ways, you must still, regardless of how you feel about one another, recognise that you and she are duty bound to create something that delivers safety, security, confidence, strength, and self-worth. Because our legacy cannot be defined by the mistakes that we make. It's got to be defined by how we lead, regardless of the pressure, experience, hurt, frustration, or anger that we feel. Strong fatherhood must, where possible, be built on a partnership and a foundation that carries the whole family. Wherever you find yourself today, She is the mother of your children. It was her strength, her body, and her power that brought them into the world. But are you overlooking that? Are you overlooking her sacrifice, her confidence as a woman, not just a mother? Her autonomy, self-worth, passion, presence, her future. My wife has just started a new job. We're 6 weeks into a new routine, but what struck me is the conflict she still experiences. The change was a conscious choice, a well thought out and well executed move, one she deserves, and one we both know she's going to excel at. But there's still a pull to be close to our boys. 5 years on from our youngest arriving, and her maternal instinct is stronger than ever. This move, yes, it's the right one, but it means she's out early and back later, and she's now working in the office 3 days a week. For her, she's got to prove herself again, demonstrate her value and contribute, but also show her talent and growing confidence and build on that exceptional skill set that she has. In essence, she's starting again, and that means putting herself first, prioritising those early days in a new job to get a head start and showcase who she is and what she's about. I'm in the arena with her. I'm grateful for the opportunity to stand shoulder to shoulder with her. I'll always be in that place. But I've realised that standing there is not always enough. And here's the bit I think we're missing. When a woman feels stuck, it's not always because no one's helping. It's because deep down, she feels like she has to carry it all alone emotionally. Even when there's someone standing next to her physically, she feels alone. She knows you'd lift the world for her, but what she might need right now is much more. She might need you to lift the invisible weight of her heart. And when I look back on the challenges that we've faced, have I overlooked what she needed? You see, my approach, fix the problem. That's where I lean on my masculine character traits. Protect the family, deliver when it matters, understand the problem, and fix it before it disrupts both her confidence and the stability of our family unit. But I'm sure she'll tell you she's not always looking for the solution. Sometimes she needs warmth, a safe space, a place to fall apart in my arms, a place where we don't focus on solving the problem, we just embrace one another. That space reminds her that she's loved not for what she delivers and contributes, but for who she is underneath that strain. Here's something you might not realise. Every time you try to fix the problem too quickly, even with good intentions, it can accidentally reinforce the feeling that she's failing, that she's not strong enough, that she's disappointing you and them, even if that's the opposite of what your intention was. Your approach can actually undermine her confidence and reinforce feelings of self-doubt. My wife, she's strong. She's a phenomenal role model. She's bright, funny, intelligent and driven. Her willingness to make sacrifices for our children is all inspiring. But that doesn't mean that I can overlook the importance of the space that she needs to vent, to be vulnerable, to share her fears. Because that's where she feels chosen. Not stuck, but heard. Chosen for who she is as my wife. Brother, this isn't about your kids, it's about her. Because behind every distracted dad, there's often a partner who's been waiting, not just to be supported, but to be seen. So be honest. When she looks at you, does she see a man who's fighting with her, or one who's just surviving beside her? I want to ask you something as someone fighting in your corner with you. When was the last time she felt like your priority? Not the kids, not the house, not the job. Her. When was the last time you looked at her and said, "You're not just my co-parent, you're my partner, my choice, my anchor. Because it's easy in the chaos of family life to treat your partner like a teammate. But she didn't fall in love with a co-manager. She fell in love with you. She had children with you. She chose you. She chose to create a future with you. So let's go deeper. When she's overwhelmed, do you step in or step back? When she breaks down, do you hear her or try to fix her? When she succeeds, do you celebrate or do you just move on to the next crisis? Because the truth is, you cannot raise connected kids in a disconnected home. Do you want your kids to grow up to love women well, to protect and champion their partners? So show them what it looks like by how you love their mother every day, every season, especially the hard ones. She needs to feel like she matters. That if everything else was stripped away, she'd still be your first choice. Our partners, they don't want perfect plans. They want presence. They want connection. They want to know that even when the world is heavy, we're holding them here in our hearts, not just with our hands. They created life. They sacrificed so much for you, for me, and for our children. And yet society is designed in such a way that they make the sacrifices without support, without understanding, and without respect. They bring our children into the world. They lose out at work, punished. For what? Advancing our future? Bringing our legacy to life? So we gotta stand shoulder to shoulder. If I earned more money and took on more financial responsibility, maybe my partner would feel less conflicted. That can't be the solution, because identity matters too. Her hard work, perseverance, talent, and career matter just as much as mine. Her worth, her contribution, her impact on our children, and her legacy. All of this matters. I'd fail her and them if I overshadowed her, if I downplayed her contribution, if I overlooked the values that she instills in our boys. There are two egos in your partnership, but competing, that's not the solution. Teamwork is. Celebrating the effort and contribution of each individual matters. It's about making space for one another to unwind, to vent, to engage in that next step. Now, of course, provision matters, but presence matters more. Financial stability will relieve some of that pressure. But what about emotional connection? That will heal the wounds pressure leaves behind. What your partner and what your kids need most, it's not just more security, it's more heart. Not solving, not fixing, just seeing her, choosing her again and again and again, even when it's messy. When she fails, she wants you to hold her close, pick her up, listen, explore the mistake. Don't cover it up and ignore the emotion in the moment, but work through the messy detail. Talk it through instead of reaching for that next fix. She at times will want to fall apart in your arms because that's where she feels safest. And that's where she takes her energy from when the pressure is at its greatest. Be her rock, but don't be silent. Be expressive, emotionally welcoming, open, honest and authentic. Lift her up when she's down. Respect her effort, sacrifice, and recognise the conflict felt at every step. So are you standing with her, or is she carrying that weight alone? Remember, choose her again and again every single day. Any barrier to emotional connection is only going to drive a wedge between you. So listen with empathy, embrace her moment of pain and celebrate the mother of your children. Do it in front of your kids. Let your kids hear you speak positively about her impact and influence, and let them know how to support the people that they love and respect. So tell me the truth. Does your partner feel chosen or just stuck right now? And if she does feel stuck, what's that one thing you can do this week to show her she's still your person, not just your co-parent. This week, I want you to do one thing. Share with her how much she means to you and how much you respect her and appreciate her effort, her contribution, and the influence that she's having on you and them. This week, I've written 2 letters. One to my wife, speaking to her heart, and a letter to me as a dad, to remind myself of what they need. Both are vulnerable, strong, and real, and I believe the perfect way to connect in this busy period. You don't have to do this, but imagine the smile on her face when she reads it. Imagine that boost in confidence. Imagine the emotion in the moment when she realizes what she means to you and how grateful you are for her influence on your family. Because this is fatherhood. It's the ability to engage, listen, and respect the value of those that have a profound impact on the lives of your kids. It's about burying ego for a moment and celebrating the women who bring children into the world and reinforcing that their value is not diminished because they had kids. Why? Because you both raise these children and they are your legacy. So the final question I have for you this week: who will she become if you stand by her side and help her understand what she's truly capable of? Who will she become and what will she stand for? More importantly, what will they learn and understand from you and her? Look, we're all learning as we go, but don't leave leadership to the outside world. Define your fatherhood journey. Protect what's important and lead with information and confidence. We owe it to them to celebrate their mother and stand shoulder to shoulder with her so that they see the worth in finding a strong, confident, self-assured, passionate role model for their legacy. As always, write it down, dive into the detail, and create something so powerful and unique that you cannot wake up and not move toward it. Remember, your change and any change must be necessary, and it's got to leave a mark, because they'll follow in your footsteps. They'll learn your behaviours, adopt your values, and treat people in the same way that you treated them. Your role, my friend, is simple. Give it everything you have. Give them what they need. Celebrate the influence of the people shaping their journey. This is the Modern Fatherhood Club. Lead from the front and never underestimate the power you have over who they become. Be transformational. Lead with confidence, power, strength, and pride. This has been Aidan. This is Answer Me This, part of the Fatherhood in Focus podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you're interested in any of our products, please visit themodernfatherhoodclub.com. If you've liked what you've heard, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel, join the Modern Fatherhood Club, get access to our free resources, join the mailing list, get support when you need it most, and from 2026, get regular support through trainings that help you uncover what matters most and helps you lead with confidence, strength, passion and pride so that you shape your legacy. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Answer Me This. I'm Aidan, and I'll see you soon.